Hi everyone and welcome back to another Mixed Media Tuesday. Today, as promised, I'm going to share the fourth and last tag where I am using shapes, those wooden shapes from my Secret Diary collection, and I'm going with the adorable cat on top of the books. Now, for the background of my tag, I'm going to use a part of this page from the 12 by 12 page where you find many tags, and if you turn the page around, you will find that you get the exact same images but in a background. So I'm going to pick up this one up here and you can see how the front looks. So I'm actually recreating the same idea but with a wooden cut, which allows me to create more dimension and making the same design idea into more interesting. So I'm going to fuzzy cut around this. And it's really easy to cut around, it's just some straight lines. And then for the background, I'm going to go with rice paper. This is a set of rice papers and they are A6 in size, so they match perfectly my mini journal, but they're also great for a tag like this one. Now I'm just going through to decide which one I want to use, and I decided to go with the one that has the stack of books at the bottom. However, since I do have books, I'm just going to tear off that part of the rice paper so that I can keep it for another project later on. I'm not throwing away anything. If you dip your brush into water and then draw with water where you want to tear off the rice paper, then your job is made really easy. You will find that as you tear it off, you see the fibers. These fibers create a very soft tear, which is really easy to disguise with paint later on. So I am keeping this lovely image on the side for another project, and I will probably use it on my mini journal. And for this one I'm going to stick the rice paper on top of my tag. Now for gluing down my rice paper, I like to go with a rice paper glue. This is specifically designed for that. It dries completely matte and you can use it not only for gluing down your rice paper but also as a sealer on top of it. So apply a generous amount and then place on top the rice paper, and then on top of that you can go ahead and seal it down. Applying a layer of rice paper glue on top is completely optional, however it is a step I always like to do. Also notice that when I apply the rice paper glue it looks milky white, however it dries completely clear and you won't be able to see it at all. You can leave this to air dry. I like to use my heat gun to make the process quicker. And then you can use a sanding block like I'm doing here, or a nail buffer on the edges to tear off any excess rice paper. You can definitely use your scissors, of course, for this process. I like the edge that buffer leaves, so this is my preferred method. Now I'm playing with acrylic paints and I'm going to apply a first layer here. I'm using a sponge dabber and I felt that this color was too bright for my liking, so I'm going to mix it up with ivory to make it look more pale. And I'm just going to cover up the whole blank space, dabbing a little bit on the edges where the blank space with the torn edge of the rice paper meet, and you will see that it comes together lovely. Now I need some extra elements for my cluster, so I'm using this last page from the 12 by 12 paper pad and I'm just going to cut out this green ticket. I'm going to ink up the edges, not bringing too much brown into the project, only the edge to get rid of that white space, and I will do that on both my cutouts. The color that I'm using here is coffee from my dye ink collection. And now I have pretty much the elements that I need, so let's work a little bit more on the background. For that I'm bringing in the stencils from this collection, trying to decide which one I want to use. In any case, I decided to go with the one that has those lovely sayings, borders, and I'm just going to apply volume paste. I love working with volume paste just because it is so thick and the words are actually readable. And you can see here the result. Of course, I am going to add close-up photos at the end of this video where you can see it better. And in the same stencil you will find some stars. I'm just going to transfer some of these designs on my tag as well. And then with a sponge dabber I'm going to go all around the edges with white acrylic paint, or you can do that with gesso, and just dab some white to border the project. And while I have this paint on my sponge dabber, I can dab in some areas of the project here and there. And of course this step is done after the volume paste was dry. However, keep in mind volume paste dries really quickly, so you don't have to wait in between these steps for too long. Like in 5 minutes it is done. Now I'm going to move on to the next step. And it's time to assemble everything. I have foam square at the back of this paper, so I'm just auditioning where everything is going to go, and once I'm happy I use even more foam tape to stick everything down. For the wooden shape again I'm using foam tape. When I'm creating these tags I like to have dimension. It makes it really, it brings it to life. And that's the beauty of working on a tag really, for someone like me that usually makes cards or pages inside a journal, which by default they have to be flat. So let me glue down that green tag as well, and I'm going to bring in the washi pad, and I'm just going to find some images that match with my cluster. This comes with 8 pages. You will find many designs that you cannot find in the pads, and you can use either your scissors to cut out the image that you like, or a ceramic pen, so that you can peel off only the design. I did share in a previous video how to use the ceramic pen, but here is another quick demo. The only tip that I can give you is that you need to rotate that ceramic pen into your hands until you find the correct angle that actually cuts. So once you hold the pen correctly, you will find that it's not going to grab onto the washi tape, but it's going to glide all over, making a line, a cutting line. And again, you don't have to go very close to the edge of the design. Just roughly separate the image from what is already there. You will find that then you can easily peel it off from the page and use it on your projects. Remember that this is washi tape, so the border all around is going to completely disappear once you stick it down. So I don't need this design to be so tall, that's why I cut off a few of the leaves from the bottom, and I'm going to stick it down. So you see it becomes part of the background where you cannot really tell where that border is. And of course the rest of it is not going to waste, I'm just going to stick it in another area. And of course you can use even more images from the washi pad to build up your cluster. Here I'm just separating another one. And just like always on my videos, you will find a full list of all the supplies that I'm using down below in the description. Of course, for the latest videos, I have been using my collection again and again, just because I want to share as many ideas as I can with you. And of course, Secret Diary is my favorite collection yet. Don't tell my other collections, but I absolutely love the designs and the color combination. Now I'm going to layer one of the flowers. Again, this comes from the same wooden shapes as the little cat. And I just layered it at behind. And then I have these decorative chips. I'm just going to cut a few of those branches and tuck them behind the cat. These are thick laser cut paper, and I'm just using my matte glue to stick them down. And to finish off my projects, I always like to add a motivational word or a motivational quote. For that, I'm going with one of the sayings from the 8x8 paper pad. You can use the sayings from the 12x12 one. I just like to switch up the sizes. That's why I went with the smallest pad. I'm going to cut it in smaller parts so that I can stick it on top of my project. Again, I'm using my mud glue, just add a dab at the back, and I find it very handy with those small pieces when I'm working with my reverse tweezers. So I'm pretty happy with how that looks. I will finish it off by adding some white splatters, which is something that I always like to do, and I'm going to call this one done. You can of course tie some ribbon through the hole at the top, and here are some close-up photos where you can see the project better. I'm also going to share a photo of all the 4 tags together, and there is a video for each one of those tags. So I hope that you had fun today, that you got inspired. Don't forget to like, to leave me a comment, and as always the list of supplies is in the description. Thank you all for watching.